We have already heard the message for the night through the songs, so I'll just put some scripture with it. At the beginning of chapter 139, Psalm 139, at the beginning of it, my Bible was mentioning, and I looked at it a little closer during the week. It says, for the director of music of David, David's director of music, David wrote Psalm 139 as a song and handed it over apparently to his director of music and said, here, play this and sing this. Not that it maybe went that way, but that's what he wrote it for, was for the director of music to sing and have during worship times in their area. So anyway, it's a psalm, and we've already sang it, and that's what psalms mean anyway, songs. But we'll put scripture with it and go with it. So should we allow God to test our thoughts? Let's take this morning a little bit. Not that we want to backtrack on all that about anxiety. You had listed this morning, as you remember, your friends that worry or have anxiety about things, and they've told you things about their worries and anxieties because you don't have any. And all these came out of what you said of, my friends worry about their health or their school, or they have anxiety about their money or the future of their parents, whatever it may be. And so tonight we want to kind of maybe follow up with that. Should we allow God to test our thoughts? If these are some things that are going on in our minds, they're holding on to us, we're worried over, or your friends are, and should we allow God to just test our thoughts, what we're thinking, what's going on in our minds, our hearts? And so David said, yeah, we should. And so as he's writing this for the director of music to make a song out of it or have a song, just put a tune to it because they already wrote the song. He said, search me. David's talking about himself. He's the writer. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. What a request to make of God. God, here's what I want you to do. And let's walk through it a little bit here. Search me. God, I want you to look at my heart, and I want you to search me. I want you to examine. Just get in there and just examine my heart, my character, my emotions, who I really am as a person, and just take a good look at it. Go exploring in my heart. Go exploring through my character traits, my personality, my emotions. Just do an exploration in there. God, just get in there and investigate. Do an investigation. See what you find. I invite you to do that. I just want you to find out what's really in my heart, what's really in my emotions, what really is in my character. What a request to make of God, huh? Because so many times we want to look at somebody else and say, God, why do they do that? Why do they act that way? Why do they talk that way? Why do they do those things? Why do they make those kind of decisions? But he's saying, no, Lord, look at me and search my heart and examine, explore it, investigate it, and find out what's going on within me. And he's saying, search me because I want you to know my heart. I just want you to consider what's going on in my heart. I want you to have a good understanding. I want to give you free rein to understand my heart, why I do what I do. Get acquainted with me, Lord. Just get acquainted with all my ways, all my thoughts, all my emotions, all my character. See who I really am, because in my heart, it's where my desires are. Those things we want, those things we desire. We all have desires. It's part of our emotions, part of our character, part of our heart, part of who we really are. And so what David is asking God to say, check out my desires. There's some things I do desire in the world, and so why do I do that? There's things I don't desire in the world. Why don't I do that? And so, Lord, just look at my desires. Where are they? What is it that I want? Look at my emotions. Why? You ever find that your emotions sometimes just do stuff like this? Just kind of, they go high and then they go low and up and down, just kind of do that. We go through highs, we go through lows in our emotions, and our emotions just going up here. Sometimes we use the term bouncing off the wall, and sometimes our emotions are up and then they're down. Why is it that way? Well, because of this stuff here. If we're having anxiety and worry over all these things of the world, all these things going on around us, or in our home, our family, our marriage, and children, and the job, and the world, and school, and all those kind of things, our emotions are going to do that because we're riding our emotions as those things happen, rather than, as we looked at this morning, asking God, Lord, I'm just going to pray about these things very specifically, to the point, and I'm going to ask you to give me peace to go through what I'm going through. Not that he's going to change that overnight. God, I'm praying about this situation going on in my health and with my children and my job. I got three things. And I'm just going to ask you to handle it, take care of it, deal with it in your way. Your will be done. And I'm fine with that. Lord, here it is. God, it's been 3 minutes. You haven't done anything. I still see the problem, my health. I'm not well yet. I still see a problem with my children. You haven't fixed anything. The job thing, now it's been 5 minutes. Lord, you haven't fixed anything. What's the problem? You see how we do things like that sometimes? We want God to fix it when? Right now. You know, just like the microwave. Rather than taking a potato. Do you know how long it takes a potato to bake in the oven? 1 hour. 1 hour. I've never baked a potato in the oven, me personally. I always put it in the microwave. That's all I knew how to do it. So in 8 minutes or something like that, I don't remember how long I put it in there. I used to do it. All right. 8 minutes, yeah. Yeah, about 8. And so, you know, still that wasn't the same as an oven-baked potato for an hour, is it? She bakes it for an hour. Totally different potato. But see, we don't want to wait for that like with God. God, I got all these things I'm worried about, all these things I'm upset about, all this anxiety going on in my life and anxiousness in my heart. And Lord, I need you to fix it not tomorrow, not next week, not an hour from now, right now. Whatever those things are. And so we bring that over in tonight, what David was saying, Lord, I need you to search me. I need you to look in my heart. I need you to understand things that are going on within me. Why do I desire what I desire? Why are my emotions doing this? What is my moral character like? And Lord, I'm just asking you to do a total examination to see why my heart is like it is. Would we do that with God? Could we do that with God? Lord, just look at my desires. Why do some of our friends make bad decisions? You probably know some friends that have made some bad decisions, haven't you? Not that we have, but your friends may have. And so as a result of that, why have they? Emotions, anxieties, worries, desires, moral character lead people to make wrong decisions sometimes. We go to the prison once a month. When we talk to them, we're looking at things, why are you here, basically? We made some wrong decisions. That's why we're in this jail for a period of time. And so he's asking God to do that. Search my heart, consider it, look at my desires and my emotions. But not only that, he said, I want you to take it a step further. I want you to test to know my anxious thoughts. Test me. Give me a test. Put me on trial. Now, maybe you've never been in the court of law. Maybe you've never been through a trial, but maybe some of your friends have. And so you know people that have possibly gone through a trial. But, there's a prosecution, there's a defense, and there's an attorney on each side, there's a judge, and all this thing going on. And we've been accused of this, and so we have this defense for that. And, you've seen it enough on TV to know how that works, if not in person. And so David says, God, I want you to put me on trial. I just want to be there and to stand, and I want you to ask me questions. And I want to answer those questions as truthfully as I can about my character, about my emotions, about my desires, about my feelings, about my moral character. And I just want you to test me. I want you to put me on trial. Literally what he was saying here, Lord, I want you to refine me. When you refine something, gold, you know where gold comes from? Out of the dirt, out of the ground, out of a rock. I mean, they dig into the ground, they find gold, and they bring it out in chunks and pieces, and then they have to refine it. Why do they have to refine the gold when it's already gold, but when it comes out of the ground, so why do they have to refine it? Yeah. There's impurities around it. Of the rock formations, of the ground, of the dirt, and so all that's in there is all intermingled with it. And so they got to refine it, to get out the impurities so that you have pure gold to make jewelry out of, or coins, or whatever it may be. David is saying, God, I want you to do the same thing with me. I want you to refine me. There are some impurities in my life, in my heart, my mind, my soul, and I need you to get it out of there. I need you to cleanse it. And so when they refine gold, in order to get the impurities out of it, what is the method they use to get the impurities out? Smelting. Meaning what? Fire. Heat. They have to melt it down in order to get the impurities out. David was saying, God, I need you to put me through the fire. I need you to do a refinement in me, and in order to do that, I need you to melt me down, if you will. I need you to put me through the fire, and as that happens, then there's going to be a cleansing my life, and things are going to be different then. We'll get rid of the impurities. See, these things we're going through here, these different things that cause people anxiety or worry, and we go through them, and we pray about it and ask God, I need you to do something about this. Here's specific what I want you to do. And God says, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you peace to go through it, and let me work on that. You trust me with that. Give me time to work through these things for you. And in the meantime, I'm going to give you peace to go through it, because it might not take a day. It may take days, weeks, months, and even years, because these things don't get that way in our problem life that causes us anxiety and worry. It doesn't get that way overnight. Things going on with children, grandchildren, they didn't get that way overnight. They didn't just wake up one morning and here they are, just all kind of troubles going on. The marriage, the family, the possessions, the school, health, job, the world, our past, our addictions, our parents, the future, all those things, they didn't get in trouble. They didn't get bad overnight. It took time. So it's going to take time to come out of it, to cure it, to heal it, to make it right. And only God can do that, and only His time will do it, not ours. So He said, in the meantime, while I'm working through all this for you, with you, I'm going to give you peace to go through it. So you have this calm spirit, this settle down in your heart. You can go through it and keep going, trusting me with it, praying about it, and letting me give you peace to go through it. So He says sometimes we have to go through the fire. We have to be in the fire with some of the stuff that's going on in our life, but giving us peace to go through it and refining us in the process. See how that works? So He says, test me. But then He also says, I want you to do something else. I want you to know there's our word from the morning, isn't it? Anxious thoughts. To know something is to consider it. God, I just want you to consider something today, okay? I want you to just understand something about me, God. I just want you to get acquainted with these anxious thoughts here. Lord, just get acquainted with all these things that are affecting my life, bringing me worry, anxiety, upsetting my life, disturbing me, making me distraught, and all these things we're going through and talking about. And Lord, I just want you to know them. I just want you to get acquainted with them, because I want you to do something with it. Because see, if we can we fix these things here? Can we just go in there at the job and say, okay, everybody, I need to call a meeting. Everybody who works in the job with me, I'm going to call a meeting. I'm fixing to fix everything about this job. I'm going to do it. And everybody's like, you're going to do this all by yourself? Yeah. How many people work here? 100. And you're going to fix all the problems going on in this job place? Yeah, I can do it. Or at the school. Or how about the health? I'm going to fix all those health issues. The marriage, I can fix it. I can deal with it. The whole family dynamic, all these things going on in our family, I can fix it. Things going on with the possessions, I got it. Don't worry about it. The money issues, I'll fix it. Just put it on me. The addictions, the parents, the future, all these things, we want to try to fix all these things, don't we? And we try and we try and we try, and we get where? Nowhere, because we can't. So we finally worry over it, agonize over it, have anxiety over it, and finally come to that point of saying, I give up. God, I want you to fix it. So I give it to you, and I trust you with it. But even more than that, I ask your will be done with it. Because we know what we want to do in these things, but we have to come to the point of saying, God, I want your will to be done, not mine. And therefore we have to turn it over to Him and say, you deal with it. You fix it. Give me the peace in the meantime to go through what we're going through. So He's saying, know my anxious thoughts, get acquainted with it, know about what's causing me worry and trouble, and that I don't trust you with it and your will, what's going on in my thoughts, my mind, my decisions. Why do I keep making bad decisions when I'm worried about all these things and keep going through the same thing over and over and over and over? Don't we see sometimes your friends make mistakes, the same mistakes over and over? They go through these things, whatever one you want to pick, and maybe 25 others that we could put up there. And people make the same mistakes over and over. Why? Our thoughts our mind, our decisions, which come from our emotions and our heart, and out of that come results, come decisions, and out of that comes all of this. So, back it up, start over. David said, God, I'm going to write a song, and we're going to sing it. I'm going to ask my music director to put music to it, and we're just going to sing, search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. See those songs we did a while ago? That's it, isn't it? We just had somebody put a tune to it and had Sherry to lead it, so it worked out good. Wasn't me doing it, you see. So, God, see if there's any offensive way in me. See, look at carefully and understand. We see everything we look at. I mean, we see the flowers, we look around, we see if we've got halfway decent eyesight. I've got to wear glasses, and some of you do too, and so, our eyesight is good, bad, or ugly. But that's not what he's talking about. He's saying, God, I want you to look carefully at something and understand what you're carefully looking at. Sometimes, have you ever read something, whether it's the Bible, a book, the newspaper, or whatever it may, have you read something and then at the end of it, what did I just read? What did I really read? What was the story about? Because if somebody were to ask you, a book, newspaper, whatever, you read something, and somebody says, did you just read that? Yeah. All right, let me test you and see what did you read? What was it? What did you really read about this mother's concern leads to her son's arrest? What did you read? Tell me what you just read. Well, I don't really know that I could answer all that question. This bill calling for a constitutional convention advances 9 to 5. You read the story. What did you just read? Well, I don't know. Doesn't that happen sometimes? And so David is saying, God, I want you to look carefully at what's going on with him in me, and I want you to understand what you find out. And so we should be the same way. We need to look carefully at something that we're reading or seeing or getting to know, and then understand what's going on with it. Why do we have just one, let's say just one, why do we have the same marriage problem coming back up over and over and over? Just one thing. Why is it coming back? We need to look carefully at it and understand why it keeps coming back. Why is the same thing, just one thing, keep happening with my children, my grandchildren? Why does it keep coming back over and over and over? We need to see it, look carefully at it, and understand it. Or the money issue, or the school issue, or, well, we can put all of them. All of them have at least one thing. Why does it keep coming back up? Why do we keep going back over and over the same thing? We need to look at it carefully and understand, not just see it. I see what the problem is. We could all say that. I see what the problem is. It's my wife. It's easy to see. It's my wife.
You got any shovels at your house?
Any what? I'm sorry. Shovels? I do. I have 3.
Good, you might need to bring them out.
Okay. But if we look carefully, thank you. Okay. If we look carefully at it, and understand it, we might see it's really not my wife. You see how that works in any of these things? We may see something for this is what I think it is. I see it. But if we look carefully at it and understand it, we may see it a different way. And so that's what David was trying to say. See if there's any offensive way in me. Just look carefully at me, God. Understand my life. And see if there's any offensive way within me. See if there's any pain or sorrow. Or if there's an idol out there that idolizes something above you. God, just look carefully at it. Because the way I see it may be different than the way you see it. You see? And so he said, see if there's any offensive way in me. See if there's anything in my life. Take a good look at it. See if there's any pain there, any sorrow there that brings these things up. See if there's any idol there. And then while you're at it, God, lead me in the way everlasting. What does that mean? Guide me on my journey forevermore. See, we're in this life until death. We're in this life for the long haul. And so along the way, we're on that journey from the time we're born again till the time we're die, going to heaven. We're just on a journey through life. And we go through a lot of things, ups and downs and all those sort of things. And along the way, we say, God, I want you to guide me on my journey from now until the day I die. And not only there, but forevermore, beyond the grave. And that means eternity there in heaven. And so that means being born again, being saved, knowing the Holy Spirit lives in us. We're on our way. But between here and there, we're asking God, just guide me. I can't guide myself through all this. But God, you can. And so along my trip, along my journey through life, I'm just asking you to guide me on my journey forevermore. So should we really allow God to test our thoughts as we look at them, maybe like we're looking at them tonight? Should we do that? Should we really ask God to investigate our heart, our emotions, and our moral character? There may be some things there that need to change. Maybe some things there that aren't right, need to deal with. God, I just need to investigate, take a real good look at my heart, where my emotions are, my moral character, and just see what you find out and let me know what needs to be changed. Do we really need to ask God to refine our worried and troubled mind because we sometimes make wrong decisions? God, there's just things I think about and things that get on my mind. Then as a result of that, I just make that wrong choice, that wrong decision, go in the wrong direction, do the wrong thing. Why did I do that? And why did I do it last week and a week before and 3 years ago and that sort of thing? God, would you just refine me? And I know refining, Lord, you may have to put me through the fire. And I realize that, but I know it's going to get out the impurities so I can walk with you like I need to walk with you. God, I just ask you to look carefully to see if you find anything that offends you. God, is there anything in my life, my heart, my moral character, my personality, my emotions, my mind, where my thoughts are, my decision making, is there anything I do that offends you, God? Can you just look carefully at me and see if there is? And if there is, would you just point it out to me? Do I cause you sorrow in any kind of way? Lord, you just look at me sometimes and say, what are you doing? Why did you do that? Cause you sorrow. Just look at that and, Lord, just see if there's something there that offends you or causes you sorrow. Point it out to me so we can change it. Do we need to ask God to guide us on our journey through life and prepare a place in heaven for us? And we do. We do on all these things, don't we? So should we allow God to test our thoughts? We should. Because that's where our decisions are made. And see if they're going to hang in there with all this anxiety and this worry, or it's going to give us peace in a relationship with Christ. It's real. So in the final part, John 14, verse 2, Jesus said, in my Father's house are many rooms. Jesus had his disciples with him for the last night, for the last evening he was on earth. The next evening, by the next afternoon, he'd be dead. This is in the evening before, on Thursday night before he died on Friday. And he's telling his disciples, in my Father's house are many rooms. If he were not so, I would have told you. I'm going there to prepare a place for you. I'm going back to my Father's house where I came from, and I'm going to prepare a place just for you, my disciples, my followers, at that day and time, as well as all through history, through today, meaning us. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I'll come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. So he said, I'm going to go to a place. I'm going to go to my Father's house, prepare you a place there. When I get through with it, I'll come back and get you. And I want you to be with me where I am. And when I get through with it, I'll come get you. You know the way to the place where I'm going. He told his disciples then, you know the way to the place where I'm going. And you may know the rest of that story. Thomas said, no, we don't. You want to fill me in on that? And so Thomas was known as the doubter because later he would say, I don't think you really saw Jesus after the resurrection. Yeah, we did too. I don't believe you. I don't think that happened. And he said, I won't believe it unless I can put my finger in his nails holes and a fist in his side where he had a spear in him. Then I'll believe it. And Jesus let him do that. Oh, yeah, okay. But he said, you know the way where I'm going. Do we? Are we sure that we're on that journey in this life and he's in heaven preparing a place for us? And when he gets through with it, he'll come back and get us. Just let him guide you through your life every single day. until we reach the end of it. And then he takes us into eternity because he got a place ready for us. And when he gets ready, he'll just reach down and take us up to where he is. That's death. And so sometimes people worry about death, don't they? They get all anxious about it. What about it? What about it? What about it? And God says, I'm just going to prepare a place for you. And when I go and prepare a place for you, I'll get it ready, and I'll come back and get you, and you'll be with me forever. Just walk with me in this journey in life.